What's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. Another big one. I don't know what is going on this year. I have been to some of the biggest concerts of all time. Feel like they've been rolling through this year. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, U2 at the Sphere, and the Adele Residency, which I think might have started last year. It did. I have had my eye on it. I've probably, of all the emails that I get and all the comments that I get, I probably for sure get the most comments. You got to go to Adele. You got to go to Adele. We want to know what it's like, blah, blah, blah. I've held off because, honestly, the pricing has been crazy. I've been going to concerts for a while. I know how this stuff works. You know, usually the first few months of a residency, prices are crazy. Her diehard fans come from all over the world. But, you know, after the first month or two, you see the prices start to taper off. I have been watching Adele for a year. Nothing. I think they got higher. I don't know what the hell is going on with concerts. It's getting really expensive. Every show I go to lately, these big shows, they're fantastic, but they're freaking expensive, really expensive, and it doesn't seem fair. You know, with Adele specifically, I've been watching Ticketmaster. Forget that. You're not getting tickets on Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, like usually like with Taylor and Beyonce and these shows, like you could keep checking back to Ticketmaster and they'll add little tickets here and there. Adele, it's like Ticketmaster's like, no, we're closed for business for the next year. Don't even bother. Go get it from the secondary market. I've watched the secondary market. I've been trying for a year, like I said, all the tricks I have in my arsenal. One of the biggest tricks I have is wait for last minute. I've gone the day of shows, hours before the show, 2 hours for the show. Maybe they'll come down $50, $100, but nope. I feel like the second they come down, there's so many people waiting to jump on that they grab them. So tickets have been hard. It started to really bother me. I decided tonight to let me see what I can do. So I went on eBay. I sold a kidney. I gathered up as much money as I could, and I started hitting StubHub the morning of the show. There was nothing really tonight I wanted to see, and I kind of was starting to get antsy. So I kept checking, and I saw the first time since I've been looking, I saw a ticket. I knew I wasn't taking anybody with me. There's no one in my life right now, fortunately or unfortunately, that's worth $1,000 a ticket. Just so you know, tickets have been going anywhere from, you're talking the fourth level at Caesars, which is pretty high, minimum 900, 1,000, up to 10,000 for the first couple rows. But I couldn't bring myself to pay $1,000 to sit in the fourth level. But I saw a seat tonight in the third level, section 302, but in the box. And I know Caesars very well. They have these little boxes. There's a couple on the second level and a couple on the third level. I don't know if there's one on the fourth. There might be. They're single rows. They're mostly handicapped, but there's some regular seats in there. Those are the best. There's nobody in the box with you. You feel like Abraham Lincoln. You go through a door, and it's just you in this little area. You have a ledge in front of you. The chairs are all rolly chairs. They're great. So I saw a ticket. I saw a single ticket, and I said, this is the best price I'm going to get for this thing. It was $945 with the fees included. I think that's the most I ever paid for a concert ticket. And I don't know, something in my brain, and I think it's happening to everybody since COVID, there's this fuck it, life is short mentality going on. And I think that's how ticket pricing. I looked at Usher the other day. It was $700 for the top level. Usher. There is this fuck it, life is short mentality that's coming out of COVID, and people are paying it. It's supply and demand. You cannot get your hands on a Adele ticket or a Taylor Swift ticket. People are paying top dollar, and I realized if I'm going to go, I got to pay it. So like I said, I sold my kidney. I did whatever I did, and I paid the money. And I went in with an attitude of like, if you're going to be harsh on my wallet, then I'm really going to critique you. If you're going to charge people $1,000, you better deliver, because it's a lot of money for people. And again, I went solo, which I don't do that often. But most people are there with couples. I saw, parents with kids. That's $4,000 or $5,000. $2,000 for a couple to sit up top. You better deliver. She delivered. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I don't know if anybody knows this or not. She might be the most talented fucking singer on this planet. She is incredible. I know Adele hits, and I know Adele hits. I really don't. I don't know any of the deeper cuts, so I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the show. But I went in pretty aggressive. I just said to myself, "Look, Joe in Vegas, if you're going to be the number one concert reviewer in the world, you got to go to these shows, and you got to be harsh on these people. They're going to charge fans that much money. You got to be harsh." So let's start with the set list. Well, let's see. It's hard. Yeah, I'm going to start with the set list because there's a lot to say and a lot to unpack. Okay, she started out of the gate, not messing around. She started with Hello, which is one of her biggest hits, and then Easy on Me, which was, I think, one of her more recent big hits. Both incredible songs. She gets you from the first note because she comes out and she tells you, this is going to start really bare bones. There was a guy on a piano, and she sat on the bench with him, and she had a microphone, and she stopped you in your tracks right out of the gate with those two songs. And then she said, look, it's going to get bigger and bigger and grow and grow and grow. So sit tight. And then she started talking, and I think it's the only criticism I had of this show. She's lucky. She's incredibly charming. She's funny. She's British. She's dirty. She's very entertaining. But she talks a lot. I think that's the most I ever saw an artist talk at a concert. And when I say talk, she tells stories, which is great. But she also goes to the crowd and says, "Hi, where are you from? What are you doing? Where'd you have dinner last night? Where are you going? Oh, you're going to Sedona next? Oh, that's great. How are you going to get there? Are you flying? Are you driving?" I couldn't believe it. It really, like I said, she made it work. I don't know how, but she made it work. She's very good at it. But I don't know. I left a comment during Kelly Clarkson where there was a certain song where she was walking through the crowd singing and talking to the crowd at the same time. And I got a lot of slack from her fans. And I listen when people beat me up. And they were saying, look, that's Kelly's personality. That's their favorite part of the concert because they love her so much that they want her to come down to earth and just be a normal person. And that's what it felt like. So I've learned from that for me, I would probably cut half of that talking out. I don't need to know the story of the lady in the second row of where she ate dinner last night. I really don't. But I think her fans just like hearing Adele talk. And she was telling stories of her kids, really generic stories, nothing incredible. I don't know if it's a tactic, and it's something she talked about a little bit. Everybody who knows or follows, she had really bad stage fright. And she still does. And she even posted something today as she announced more shows that this has been an incredibly healing thing for her to get over that stage fright. Having the same show every night, and I think the talking in between makes her calm and it makes her feel like, hey, I'm just a girl in a studio hanging out with my friends singing. And if that's what gets her to sing at that level, and that level is a 10, it's a 10. Then fuck it. I'll put up with the talking and I'll suck it up to get everything else that comes with it. After Easy on Me, she did Turning Tables, Take It All, I Drink Wine, Water Under the Bridge, Send My Love to Your New Lover, Oh My God, One and Only, Don't You Remember, Rumor Has It, Skyfall from James Bond, Hometown Glory, Love in the Dark, and then there was a little movie, Cry Your Heart Out. So this section, I really didn't know too many of these songs, honestly. I knew Rumor Had It, I knew Skyfall, but this is where I find her to be incredible. It doesn't happen a lot of concerts. Usually when you don't know those songs, that's when you dip out to go, grab a drink or go to the bathroom or stuff like this. I was glued to her. There's something, there's not something, it's just pure talent. She opens her mouth and you can't take your eyes off of her. She opens her mouth and you just want to lean in and hear, and she captures you and she brings you into her world. And she said it herself, a lot of her songs are painful. They're heartbreak songs, and we can all relate to those. I know I could, but there's something about her. It's infectious. She's infectious. It's a good word to describe her. She's so talented. she's really talented. Let me keep going with the set list. They did this little movie screen called Cry Your Heart Out, followed by Set Fire to the Rain, which was one of her biggest hits. I think they had that little movie just so they can set up the stage, because for that song, they had rain, they had fire, there was a poor piano that got beat up at least in 2 or 3 different songs. They lit it on fire, they blew it up, they had rain. Like she promised early on in the show, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I said, they started with her just sitting on a piano bench singing to now fire. I've been to Caesars for a million shows. She made use of that. It's a massive stage, which I love. It's a great venue, great stage. They have these big walls on the right and left. I've never seen anybody really use them. She had screens that went all the way out. Obviously nothing like the Sphere, but she capitalized on all of that. There was one song where she had lanterns coming up and down. I've never seen anybody do that at that venue. She really took advantage of every little corner of that place, which good for her. Set design was really cool. It was, these walls kept sliding back and forth. The set was cool, man. She did a good job. Like I said, you got the best singer, and what comes with that are usually the best stage production people, and it shows. It really shows. In between with the talking, like I said, there was 1 or 2 songs there was one song where she goes through the crowd, and she literally has like conversations with people. To me, it just kills the flow. I don't know how to explain it. If she took all the talking out, it might be a perfect show. That's me. That's my take on it. But believe me, it's not that far from being a fantastic show. She even brought out T-shirt guns at one point. Again, you're at this elegant Caesar's Palace. Adele, diva, one of the best voices of all time, emotional singers, and she brought out a T-shirt gun, 4 of them, and shot them into the crowd at some point. I've learned to be more accepting. I think that's who she is her personality. And I think it's important to her to show her personality, and it's not just this sad heartbreak thing. It kills the momentum. It kills the flow of the set list, but I get it. And it does work for her, like I said, because she's very charming. After Set Fire to the Rain, she did When We Were Young, and she had these big pictures all over the screens, I think. Oh, no, When We Were Young was when she walked through the crowd. She had pictures on the screen of her as a kid. Hold On, and she did Someone Like You, which could be one of the best ballads, heartbreak ballads of all time. Rolling in the Deep, probably her biggest song, maybe, and closed with Love Is a Game. Man, like I'm telling, if you're listening to this, she is incredible. It's almost, after a couple of those songs, I think Love in the Dark was a song I never heard before. It left me almost speechless. I mean, it's I was thinking about how to rate it. I was thinking about how much to let the talking, and again, it's not talking. Like if she was talking and sharing like stories on how she wrote the song, I would have found it more interesting. It was talking to people in the crowd about, like I said, what they had for lunch. Did they go to the pool today? I'm going to give the show a 9.75. I think without that talking, for me, it probably would have been a 9.9. Now's the $1 million question, or the $1,000 question. Is it worth the money? I was thinking about that too the whole night. Is this worth $1,000? I think it's very specific on where you are in your life. If you're a diehard fan, spend the money. You will. I was watching all the diehard fans in the crowd crying. But I could tell in the look on their face, this is the greatest thing they've ever seen. Again, fuck it. Life is short. Spend the money. If you're financially in a position to afford it, or you don't treat yourself to things that often, pay it. It's incredibly expensive, but it's not that much more expensive than the other large popular tours, the Taylors and the Beyoncés and the stuff like that. Unfortunately, if you don't have the money and you're not such a big fan, then I don't know. That's a lot of money to spend on 2 tickets, a couple $1,000 to sit up top for 2 tickets. It's a lot. I don't know how to answer that question. I think, is it worth it? For me, it would very much. I made the money back at the blackjack table, so I don't care. But even that, I have a review channel, so I had to do this. I had to do this show. I'm happy I spent the money. I love the show. The only negative thing was too much talking. Go see it. Fuck it. Life is short. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking if you don't even have the money and you can't afford it, fuck it. Go anyway. Life is short. I'm starting to become one of those people now. My grandparents will kill me if they heard this. Go spend the money. Fuck it. Who cares? Who cares? Life is short. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, it was a fantastic show. Would I run to see it again? Someone asked me that on the way home. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I would. It's a lot of money. If it got cheaper to 500s, then yeah, I would take someone on a date or whatever and spend $1,000. But to spend $2,000 to see it for a second time, that I'm not sure of. Taylor Swift, I would. Anyway, thanks for listening. It's getting long. I appreciate it. Subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you at the next show. Bye-bye.